All right.
Not yet, have we? No, we're pretty good about it. Excellent. Well, why don't we do some introductions so you guys know who we are, but we'll start with you, please. You can start, sir.
Again, my name is Russell Spies. I'm the Director of Operations. So we have 7 different locations, I'm sorry. We did have to close one this past year when Macy's downtown sold the lease out from under us. But 7 locations. I'm in charge of 5 of those, which we call the flying model. It's a bit of a smaller store. And I also do IT work for the company.
So he's not busy at all.
Yeah.
And you've been with the company how long?
I'm at 9.5, almost 10 years.
And I'm Cheyenne. I'm our marketing communications director, and Ann wanted me to come in her stead. Again, I told you not Ann. Sorry, she can't be here. She was taken ill, which right now is very rare. It would take a lot to keep Ann from coming. So, yeah. All right. Want me to get started?
Why don't we do a quick
yeah.
round for you? Yes, so go ahead, Libby.
What?
She's
She's like,
sorry.
what am I saying?
It's too early for this.
Would you like some coffee?
Sorry, Libby.
Thank you. I'm
During the
doing-
headlights.
Okay, I'm Libby Hickman, Bill Nader Company Senior Management. I do
Okay.
HR, backup for a number of places. And I do catering for the office and for the board of directors. So I care.
We're ordered.
And I have used well. Okay.
I'm Lori Lindsay. I do the events here at Garden Park.
Cool.
Megan Mahaffey, and I do property management.
I'm Melanie. I'm the property manager, and I work with Lori on the events here at the Montgomery Park.
Diane McMahon, the incoming CEO and lover of Mama Leone's soup.
I'm Bill Barendrick, and I'm part of the senior management team. Tim Hendricks with the Director of Facilities and Sustainability Management.
Mark Fazio, the CFO.
Okay, well, I guess I'll get started with a little brief history of our organization, our mission statement. Elephants is turning 38 years next year, next week. April 19th is our birthday. So, and actually for our CEO has been with our company for 35 of those, and her husband, our executive chef, Scott Weaver, has been with our company for 34 of those. So it is a family-owned, family-operated company. We tell this story to all new employees, but 38 years ago, I've lived here 20 years now, but even then I can remember going to Elephants when I first came here to find those kinds of things you couldn't find anywhere else. But 38 years ago, we were the first people doing espresso and doing fresh squeezed juice and grating cheese, and there's all these fantastic stories of all the, when a lot of even high-end restaurants were serving mushrooms in cans, we were working with mushroom pickers and bringing them to the restaurant and making all these fantastic things. So even though now that's sort of commonplace in Portland, Elephants was the first to do that. The other thing I put in here, and when I saw your roof, the solar farm, in the news this week. So that was awesome. I thought that was pretty amazing.
Sustainability, yes.
Well, I was going to say, as our operation grows, obviously so is the impact on the community around us. And we are just hitting our 2-year mark of becoming a B Corporation. So if you're not familiar with what a B Corporation is, it is an outside company that certified us. They look at things like our sustainability practices, how we treat not only our employees and take care of them, but how we interact and support our community. It's really the highest standard you could meet in terms of sustainability. It took us about 2 years to get that certification, and we're just finishing the recert. Every 2 years you have to recertify. So, and that's an opportunity to do even better than you did the last time. So you set all these. It's really nice. It sets a benchmark for you, so you can see where you can make improvements. We can't release what our new score is, but I heard through the grapevine what it is. I know that we're going to be recertifying with a much improved score, which is fantastic. It's just means so in the 2 years since we became a B Corporation, we've instituted a lot of new things that help us be an even more sustainable company. Let's see, what else is there about? Our mission: to provide a fun, friendly, energetic, sensory food experience combined with exceptional quality and service. And I really do think, customers over the decades, to walk into an Elephant's is to be, I think, just amazed by, the sights and the sounds. They're beautiful locations. smell the food. So that sensory experience is definitely something that all of our locations really strive for. Obviously, the flagship locations right here, not too far from you folks, if you've been there. Some people call it like a food circus. It's almost overwhelming to people. There's so much in there when you walk in. But I think the other thing that's unique about elephants is that we have customers that have trusted elephants and come to elephants for decades. So we have entire families in Portland that have grown up on elephants. They've all grown up on Mama Leone's soup. And they come to elephants for their weddings, they come to elephants for catering and other events. So yeah, when you're working with elephants, you're working with a company that for decades has made Portlanders, I think, very, very happy. When I'm wearing elephants logo wear and people see a little elephant on me, I get high-fived by strangers in the bank and stuff. They just go, oh my gosh, I love elephants. I feel like we're doing our job when I see that. You guys asked what differentiates us from the competition. Ann and I talked a lot about this. I think the thing that differentiates us is that we have decades, obviously, of expertise and experience in numerous areas. So food service, obviously, catering and events, venue management. We manage right now 3 of our own venues. Product packaging. So again, all of our salads, our sandwiches. We have a little product packaging team that packages all of those things so that people can grab them and go. Retail buying, sales, and merchandising is something else that we have a lot of expertise in. We have an entire team of buyers, and we have a merchandiser who works on all of our stores to make sure that when you walk in, you're getting that wow experience. There's an abundance of just things that you want to eat and drink, and it's just a really glorious environment. And also, I think sustainable business practices. It's something it's not a side thing for us. It's integrated in everything that we do. And I think, okay, here we go. I tried to sum it up. Our specialty food, retail knowledge, and merchandising expertise enhance the elephant's delicatessen food service experience and helps us turn a convenient place to eat into a multi-sensory food paradise. That's how I like to think of it. Even if somebody's just stopping in to grab a sandwich, they're still going to have a really fantastic experience at Elephants. I also think our commitment to customer service sets us apart, and Russell can talk a little bit to this too. We're more than just a store, we're a community of people. A lot of our employees have been with us a very, very long time. Larry, our wine buyer at Memphis 22nd, has been with us for 32 years. So everywhere you look, you have people who've been there 10, 20 years. And we are all trained in kind of the customer, the hospitality standard that Open sets. And Russell does a lot of that with our senior store managers. But yeah, we want to be a highlight of somebody's day, even if they're just coming to get a quick cup of coffee. That interchange should still be something that they walk away from. Oh wow, that was fantastic. Let's see. The customer is always right. Well, yeah. That's just say we all know that. That's true. That's true. Yeah, I don't know what else you would want to say. If you have anything to say that differentiates us.
Let me chime in there with a few thoughts that came to my mind, and that is we are for a delicatessen. We have a wide variety of things that we do. We do direct to customer. We also do Williams-Sonoma.
Yeah, we do shipping.
So
casseroles.
So it's not just that we have a huge catering department that is well respected in the community, and it's not just that we have 7 locations that you can meet us either at the airport when you're coming into town or leaving, but you can also meet us down in one of the suburbs in Lake Oswego if all you do is work in a business park. But some of these other things that people may not know, not just catering events as a drop-off, but full service events, as she had mentioned, weddings. And we are always attempting to find new ways to expand that direct-to-customer or the wholesale accounts. We've had several inquiries into that in the last year alone as to different places that we can work our way into. And as far as customer service goes, as Cheyenne was talking about hospitality, as a matter of fact, beginning this year, we've made an even bigger push in that direction. Whether you agree that the customer is always right or not is irrelevant, in that what we're attempting to do, if you know anything about the community here in Portland as far as food goes, it's becoming even more competitive than it was 10 years ago when I first moved here. And the net gain of restaurants in the last year has been over 1,000 new restaurants. So we've got lots of competition, and the only way that Elephants has determined that they're going to continue continue to expand and grow and keep a vital part of the community as our customers is to expand in hospitality and make sure that, as Cheyenne was saying earlier, that we're giving them an experience. It's not just coming in, you have great food at a good price, but that we want to give our customers an experience each time they come into us.
Food experience. This is a big section. So this is the section you helped me put together because it has all of our other flying elephants.
Yes, so let me briefly go over those. As I had mentioned earlier, Lake Oswego, we do have one in the Shorenstein property down there. It is a office park. We also have one that is similar in nature in Fox Tower downtown. You might be familiar with that. Those two are a flying model, strictly hot food, sandwiches, that sort of thing. They do not have a grill. A third one like that is the one at PDX, our location there at the airport. We do have what we call our burger joint. That's Director Park, Elephants in the Park. That is strictly a grill, and it caters to a different clientele downtown. And then, of course, we've got the newest location, South Waterfront, which is a combination of those two. It's got a grill as well as our traditional flying. That's in the OHSU building. So we have a wide variety of clientele that we serve in our daily restaurants. And then, of course, the two larger locations. We've got Corbett Avenue on Elephants on Corbett, which is on Corbett Avenue, which has a more, wouldn't you say, homey feel?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's kind of a family
neighborhood.
environment. There's a lot of schools nearby that location.
And you can tell by who's buying what at these locations and who goes. You know, the Cruiseway location, obviously, it's closed at 5 o'clock. The park there closes at 5 o'clock, the business park. But Corbett Avenue caters a very different crowd. We do have lots of
And it has a
families
full
there.
bar, so
And
it's
a
kind
full
of
bar. It's almost, you would say, a local neighborhood hangout. And then, of course, you have the Uptown location, which is, you know, our flagship, has a huge amount of charcuterie.
gifts. Though all of our locations have gifts, I think that's good to point out. Even if you go to a flying, there's greeting cards, there's little, you know, oh, I forgot so-and-so's birthday. There's always those sorts of special things that our buyers work together to be sure that all of the stores have. Things you wouldn't necessarily expect to find when you go get a coffee.
And so the only thing that I would say in regards to that is, as I mentioned earlier, the only location that we've ever closed, we've continued to expand all of the time, was our Elephants on Wheels location that was located on the mall, the bus transit mall downtown. And we did not close that willingly. The lease agreement that Macy's had signed with us when they owned the building gave us 3 months' notice. And so they exercised that earlier this year and closed that in February, beginning of February this year.
Would this location be most closely resemble the South Waterfront one?
That depends. We've looked at it a couple different ways, and I can go over that with you as we look at the very basic financial report that we looked at as well. We've looked at it as both a possibility for a traditional flying store, which would mean lots of hot food, lots of soups, salads, sandwiches, and of course all of the
Coffee, tea,
gifts, items,
yeah.
coffee, tea, that sort of thing. Obviously no bar. And we have also looked at it if we had the addition of a grill menu. Did we
I
put
did.
in both
Everyone has a
of
couple
those?
menus in the back. So what you have is what we call the Flying Everyday menu, and this is a sample menu you find in Flying Elephants. So you have the breakfast items or baked goods, sandwiches, grilled sandwiches, soups. If you look on the back of that, you'll see we do hot specials every week. Again, that might be a porchetta hoagie with fennel and onions. Our Jamaican chicken curry is really popular, so we have a lot of those, and salads and beverages. If you look at the Waterfront Grill, you'll see that it has the addition of the burgers, and we even have things like fried, chicken sandwich, chicken strips, and things that would obviously require the need of a grill.
So it is definitely a possibility either way. We've looked at what it would require. Obviously, when you have a grill, it is much more labor intensive, and that is obviously a factor that we want to consider as we go forward. It is less intensive labor-wise and much more efficient to handle it as a Flying Elephants model, the traditional model. But either way, there would be a lot of good food opportunity if you take a look at the everyday menu. course, our salads and sandwiches rotate on a more infrequent basis, monthly.
Some never go away, because if you took Mama Leonie's soup or Walnut Valley salad away, people would, I'd get every email from everyone in Portland.
So would-
But you had a question.
What kind of equipment do you need then if you just do it every day? Do you still need a kitchen, but not, your soups and salads and everything are made here, or are they brought here?
Correct. They would be, we use a central kitchen operation for all of our locations. So the two locations that do have a full kitchen, that can do more, and they have catering out of those locations, are the Uptown and the Corbett Avenue. So because catering is done in those locations, they have a full kitchen at their disposal
We've
as well.
on-site venues and private dining rooms in those kitchens.
Correct. So in that regard, this would be very similar as what we're assuming. Still, the bulk of the food, even for Corbett Avenue and Uptown, are made at our central kitchen, just the economy of scale, that we can, they're made fresh every day, and they're finished production at about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, because the trucks are loaded.
And yes, there are people that like to work at night.
Because the trucks are loaded at 4 o'clock in the morning and headed out. As a matter of fact, the first truck arrives at PDX at 4. It's the early one that leaves at 3:30. So in that regard, our sandwiches, our salads would be in that same vein. They would be made at the central kitchen. The soups brought over to us in that regard. What we would be doing here is taking those casseroles and cooking them off here and serving them in that particular regard. Now, if we did go with the grill, obviously that's a different thing, and everything would be made here. We would simply bring over the patties and fries and those sort of things. And I think someone.
So in looking at the location in the building, are you saying that you think just the flying everyday menu setup would be better than having the grill also?
Well, I don't want to speak for Ann in that particular regard. That decision, I don't think she's come to a final decision, as we on the executive team have weighed in on this option to look at it. What we know we can do, and that we would be very proud of, let me put it to you this way, would be a typical flying. We believe that the quality of the food and the options that would be available would be outstanding for a location just like this. What calls into question is not just the labor aspect, but how many people then it would need to operate. A grill is very labor intensive. It's something that in addition to whatever staffing you may need, an hour before the grill is turned on, you need a dedicated individual to be there to prepare that grill and to do it right, and then that same hour after. So for the 3 hours that you would be serving here at this location, we're just debating the pros and cons of how efficient that would be for us. I did note when I was downstairs that you folks do have a menu now that includes some grilled items. So we've looked at it both ways. I don't want to speak for Ann. I don't think we have yet come to a final as to what we would propose in that regard. But I know that for myself, I think everyone would be very happy, even if it was just the traditional flying elephants.
Staffing, that actually.
So every day still has grills.
It does.
So that's just.
It does, and that would be correct. That is a
Not a grill.
panini grist grill. If you think of George Foreman sort of looking thing,
Yeah.
only the industrial size. So yes, still grilled hot sandwiches in that regard. So
We do
cold
hot weekly
sandwiches.
specials too.
So you
Two
wouldn't
of
have
those.
like hamburgers. You wouldn't have-
Right, when I, and good clarification, thank you for bringing that up. When I'm referring to the grill, I'm just simply referring to a number of hamburgers or chicken fingers,
Deep fryer,
that sort of,
that kind of-
anything
Yes.
that's deep fried, that sort of thing. But we are constantly expanding our everyday menu. And let me give you an example in that regard. We have our menu meetings quarterly for everything that was just on the menu, and we are constantly revising that. And one of the things that came out of the meeting last week again is new everyday combination meals. So we're now getting into some of the bowl options, and I don't want to
Don't give it all
I don't
away.
want to announce some of the new things
They've
coming
been
up
very,
here.
very popular with our customers, so I think we're
But-
adding more of those.
Yes, curry has been such a big hit for us over the past year that the executive chef, Scott Weaver, has been very excited
People love
to
the
expand
healthier kind of
that.
curry with quinoa, side
Yeah.
fruit, kind of.
And so always having the traditional sort of lasagnas and
Mac and cheese. Every flying elephant
Comfort.
always has mac and
Yeah.
cheese. The green chili enchiladas, those wonderful
the
things.
meatloaf, mashed potatoes, the turkey dinner, all of these very standard, good, wholesome American sort of food. But in addition to that, we're increasing so that with more frequency, every week there's more variety.
We also did, like, for St. Patrick's Day, we brought in bangers and mash. And normally we would do a special like this just at our larger locations, but we did it at all of Flying Elephants and we sold out, I mean, every single day. So taking some, things again around the holidays, the turkey and the mashed potatoes, and giving people options so they can have a nice holiday meal too. So those have been really popular as well.
Yes, it was extremely popular. Our problem with those are then people want them into the regular menu all of the time.
And mash that.
And we did it so that there could be that variety, that this is a special thing that we will maintain. So. Any other questions about the menu? Those are great questions.
Makes me hungry.
I was
Yeah.
just
I'm
gonna say,
over
hungry.
here hungry.
Well, should I talk about breakfast at all?
No.
All right. Our breakfast offerings would be the same as all of our standard Flying Elephants.
And so these are hot breakfasts, so they're like the lasagna stuff, they're in a morning dish?
Correct,
Okay.
it's the half hotel pan that's on the steam table, correct.
I think our most popular breakfast
Yes.
item right now is breakfast sandwich, but then the breakfast burritos aren't
Breakfast
far
burritos
behind.
are very, very popular as well.
Mhm.
And, depending on what you like, we've got the gravy and biscuits and gravy. That's very filling. Very
Different
good.
locations tend to like different things. We have really different, and you'll see later, like when we go to market or when I go to create marketing budgets, I look at each location, I look at each profit center. They're all really different. Our customer base at Northwest 22nd, or even amongst our flyings, they're a completely different group of people. And there are places where they really want more healthier options. There are places where those don't sell as well. So we also, take that into consideration when creating some.
Let's say I'm having a 3 o'clock meeting or a 2 o'clock meeting, and basically I want finger food, this munchy stuff. Do you have a platter catering menu that
So
would
that-
be available, or is that something we just order on the phone from your main location?
We would always coordinate.
Do we have platters?
We got this, okay.
This is, I think that a lot of our tenants are looking for as well.
And that's our
Absolutely.
full service menu.
Absolutely, and we would always coordinate it through here, so let me use PDX as a good example of this. PDX is a traditional flying model, so it does not have a kitchen in that facility itself. But you can imagine the airport has a lot of companies that come in, literally they fly in, they use the conference rooms, in the terminal, or they use the conference rooms over in the main port building. And so we coordinate that all through the PDX location. Number one, not just for security reasons, in that particular regard, we have to, because of security concerns, it's all gotta come through the back end and be checked. But we would operate this much the same way. So if you did it, it would be somebody at this location that you would be working with and coordinating with, and they would take those orders.
Just to make it easy
Right,
for
and most likely the manager or the team management. And they would be coordinating it for you in that regard. So if it was big enough that we actually needed to have service personnel with us, then obviously the catering people would come from the catering department, but it would still be coordinated from this location in that regard. We wouldn't, we wouldn't be making the croissants here, we wouldn't be making the sandwiches here, but we would do all of that coordination so that what comes to you would.
Same thing with sack lunches, because I would say Cruise Way, again, that's the one in Lake Oswego, they do a lot of sack lunch business out there in Lake Oswego, and that's handled by that store and not over at our catering office.
Right, and the joy.
When you have a dedicated person.
Yep.
Right, the joy of that is that you folks in this location, just as at the airport, then they're getting used to one person, or in this case, a management team, because there's a lot going on at the airport, that begin to learn what the customers need. So we would begin to learn what your needs are, how you like things, if there are special tweaks to it. That the catering department, they're handling everybody. So it works much better for us to do it at this location, have a person that we would work with to.
Yeah, this is just our full service catering, so again, this is something where if there was a wedding here, for example, or a big corporate event, and we have on-site cooking and that sort of thing, we have another catering menu that's just drop-off catering. So again, if we don't have any staff that's needed here, it's just the trays, and then there's the sack lunch, box lunch. So kind of 3 different tiers of catering options when it comes to that.
Would you go back to your breakfast menu for just a moment?
Yeah.
Please? I see that you have the oatmeal and the yogurt parfaits and biscuits and gravy and so on. Now, do you do your own pastries? And
Yes, we do.
is that a featured item
Absolutely.
in the morning where?
Absolutely. Our pastries are huge at all of our locations. So help me out if I forget anything. We've got croissants, both chocolate and plain, and now we have my favorite, the
Danishes.
almond.
Oh, I love the
Oh my
mini
gosh, the
danishes.
almond. We've got mini danishes.
You guys are making each other hungry.
I know.
There's a reason why we're in the food
We
industry.
just talk about,
And
we have
she-
entire meetings
and
just
she
about
teaches.
danishes.
Oh my gosh.
So we're like,
And she teaches and chefs and all of that sort of thing at
yeah.
Pour La Table
We
or
have,
whatever
we have
it is.
entire meetings just about muffins and all that.
But muffins, 2
They
different
can keep it.
muffins. Let's see, what else did we mention?
Well, they rotate all the time, like, we just, I love those small.
Oh, croissants, yes, so
Yeah, and it's all made by hand in our kitchen.
all of that.
So are they made
Banana bread?
where?
They're made at our central.
At our
location.
central
And then they're brought into.
daily fresh,
Yeah.
yes.
Now, if you were doing this location with the facilities that you have here, would you be baking on premise, or would you
No.
use this as a?
No, we would be, for this, I can address using the larger facility kitchen here in a moment. But as far as the pastries are concerned, as with the salads and the sandwiches, for the economy of scale, it would all continue to be made at the central kitchen, because we can ramp up and ramp down at that location without duplicating efforts by bringing that sort of thing here. I believe we did talk with
Oh, yeah, about the
Melody
use of
about
the kitchen
the
here.
use of the kitchen here, and using that as an additional production area, and thinking about how that would best benefit us in that regard. Probably something like Williams-Sonoma, something where it can be remote and offsite, and there is no duplication of effort there. That is a dedicated department that handles Williams-Sonoma and direct to customer, and that.
Direct to customers is anything that we ship to customers. We get a lot of orders that people that want, Mom-Landy soup shipped across the country, or they want 3 lasagnas. And that is actually also something we're starting to offer in our flying elephants as well. So if somebody's here and they wanna just grab a lasagna before they go home, they can pick that up from the flying elephants as
They
well.
order it ahead of time or something?
We actually have enough, usually keep stock of it, but we do have some customers that do order it ahead of time at certain locations.
So if you run out of pastries at 9 o'clock in the morning, what do you do?
First of all, I start yelling at the manager.
Why did you order enough pastry?
And if we really do run out so early in the morning, this location is fortunate enough that you are relatively close to one of the other locations, our main location, as a matter of fact, that we would probably rob Peter to pay for all.
That's really nice.
But I
We
do.
don't run out of things.
But I do kid you not.
It's a
in that
philosophy of
regard.
abundance when it
The-
comes to stocking.
Correct.
Yeah.
The first thing I would be doing is training the manager, retraining them on ordering. I think Cheyenne said it, we train ourselves, we pride ourselves on having abundance. We would like to see the end of the day come with one of everything that we know is going to be wasted, rather than run out of something at 2
And all of our food is donated from every location.
That's
Oh,
okay,
that's
you
nice.
can do that. You can.
Yes, we have signed up with that at all locations.
Every location's
We started
worked
at
with
the
somebody
airport
different, yeah.
when I tried to get it at the airport years ago, and when they finally put it through, then we just started doing that at all of our locations.
What do you do for coffee?
So we work with Stumptown Coffee, and we offer a really extensive menu of Stumptown Coffee, and we work with Smith Tea Maker. And all of our staff is trained by Stumptown, the art of baristaing. And lately we've even been doing training with Smith Tea Maker, how to talk about, serve tea, make tea lattes, all sorts of things.
So it is not just drip coffee, but we do specialize in all sorts of espresso drinks as well. And one of the other things I should mention, this is not strictly elephant speaking, but as Cheyenne mentioned it before, with the products that we bring into a location, we, just like we like to have an abundance of elephant's food and good variety, we do that same thing when it comes to drinks that we offer, or grab-and-go grocery non-food items, we call them, whether it's chips, or whether it's our bagged candy, whether it's, in this particular case, I'm thinking of just drinks for you if that was of interest, not just coffee, tea, and espresso, but we like to have a wide variety of drinks that would appeal to people. This is a healthy town, and things like coconut water are big hits,
People
but
can't
so
drink
are
enough
the
kombucha.
kombucha is a big hit, and we sell a lot of that, and so we try to stay not just on the edge of what is being sold in the community, but standards as well. We do, even though I don't drink it, we do sell Coke products, because people still drink Coke all over the world. So we have, we joined with Oregon Rain to bottle our own branded water. But it's still
Kombucha, do you make that too?
we do not make that
We
ourselves.
work with Townsend.
But we work with, well, actually a
We have
number.
it on
We've
tap,
got,
yeah.
we've got
Wow.
3 different, all locations have at least 3 different kombuchas,
That's impressive.
makers of kombucha.
And then so your leftover food, your locations, you donate at food kitchens and stuff like that?
Yes,
So we
and
can
it
tag
depends on the
to-
location.
So we can tag on to our sustainability.
Exactly.
The leftover food is.
Yep.
is
And every
not
location
wasted.
chooses to work with somebody like, I was gonna say, like, we work with urban gleaners. I always know we can call urban gleaners, they're
Right, if
great
there's
about.
nobody in a specific
The
area that
neighborhood.
will service this neighborhood, our default is urban gleaners for that reason. But there are people in Lake Oswego, obviously, that, a different community. People at the airport, it used to be St. Vincent de Paul, who had contracted with the airport. They just recently changed that. So we work with a variety. Fox Tower downtown works with 2 of the different, housing units for low-income housing.
Yeah, and I was gonna say Corbett works almost exclusively with a women and children's battered women's shelter.
Shelter.
So all of the
Yes.
food from all of the leftovers from there go to that. They become a partner of ours. They host their events with us, and we give all of our leftover food to them. So this location, just like every other location, would have its own. If there are partners you're already working with.
And what do you do with your garbage service then on these locations? Do you have your own garbage service here? Is there recycling, that kind of stuff? Obviously, you guys.
Typically, that depends with the building. Most of our locations, we are bound by the lease agreement to use, for instance, at Fox Tower or Shore
So
and Steam,
that's
that sort of
kind of
thing.
my point, whether
So
you have
it-
your own contract through, or you just.
We do it when we
contract
can.
here.
We do, right, depending on who the contractor is, what we were able to do at South Waterfront, what we call South Waterfront, in the OHSU building, the Collaborative Life Science, is a combination. We are big with sustainability, and being, even before B Corp, we were
Cool.
green in the sense of wanting to take all of our food waste and make sure that it's done. In that particular building, they did not have a contractor who they contracted with didn't provide that service. But they were willing to, once we got into that building, contract with an additional company specifically for the food waste.
So let me carry that on a little further. So you're composting, whatever byproducts you left
Back
over,
of house.
obviously that's the back of house stuff.
Back
And
of
then
house.
what about the products you're serving to the tenants, as far as sustainability? Are those, you have composting garbage bins and that kind of stuff for the packaging?
I
The
was gonna
leftover
say,
food, do we do any of that?
sadly, our package, well, I shouldn't say sadly, we had spent so much time coming up with compostable packaging for all of our salads, and then when the Portland
Changed it.
Right.
Yes.
composting rules
So-
changed.
So it was very devastating to me personally because I led that program and we were at 93% compostable. And then the city changed the rules. And so now, we, at the front of house, we deal with, standard materials that, if people want to take them home, and I mean, they're
They're
recyclable
Almost
and.
everything
They're
is
recyclable. Yeah, we gotta go back to
Correct.
recycle.
And we would love for people to be able to do that in the front of house. That varies at location depending on the building and what we're allowed to do in that regard. So in the back of house, food and recycling, we do it all in the back of the house that we can control. In the front, it really depends. But we're back to just using recyclable material because of what the city has done.
Sure.
And I think it's probably going to take the city of Portland another 10 years before we get back to where we were 5 years ago.
It's not the only thing we're messing with. I've got two other questions then. On the waterfront grill and your flying menu, you talked about the waterfront grill being more labor intensive, but your price point seems to be very reasonable, if not cheaper than the flying grill in some respects. Would you expect that price point to be the same here at this building? I need your menu.
We have a policy that we must abide by because of the Port of Portland, but we have a policy of what the price is at one location is the price at all locations.
Wow.
So that does not change, and the Port of Portland requires that every year I certify that that is the case, which is why one of the things that we do on these menus is publish these, and you'll notice at the bottom, Fox Tower, PDX, Cruiseway, South Waterfront, these prices are the same.
I gotta tell you, that price
Now,
point
the
on the
waterfront
grill.
grill was something we actually just went in and kind of retooled our grill menu to come up with some items, and we R&D'd and came up with some items that were a little bit smaller portions for a lot of the students that are at this
Sure.
location. So this is a little bit different than what you'll find on like our corporate grill menu.
But a better price point in that
You-
regard.
So you
Price
might have
point
two tacos
for
here
this
for a
neighborhood,
smaller
I think.
price.
Yes.
And it'll beat anything in the neighborhood as far as the price.